Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Debating key issues, from teacher raises to bonuses for law enforcement officers. Today, lawmakers will discuss what to toss and what to keep in the proposed $30 billion budget.
And it's a windy day across North Carolina today. I'll show you how long these blustery conditions will stick around coming up.
In a police standoff, officers rush to the United Healthcare facility after a man armed with a gun shouts threats outside that building in Minnesota. Why some feared a repeat attack.
Happening now, state lawmakers are taking a closer look at the Senate's budget proposal today. The $32.6 billion bill is winding its way through several key committees. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Thanks for joining us. And going on right now, Eric Miller has been following this action. And Eric, the budget calls for some major changes to state government.
And Jeff, there's really a lot packed in here. This is a Republican-penned bill, and the GOP has been quick to say that it will invest in a lot of key priorities, including helping the state rebuild its financial reserves, continue rebuilding from Hurricane Helene, as well as to put money towards some new priorities, including hundreds of millions of dollars for a state children's hospital. Democrats, though, they have been quick to push back here on a number of issues, including planned cuts to virtually every agency in the state. This budget would eliminate nearly 800 positions across the state government that are vacant and would cut even more jobs that are currently occupied. Speaking in committee this morning, Republican senators couldn't say exactly how many occupied jobs would be cut. The budget also rolls out a new division under the state auditor that would essentially be a North Carolina-fied version of DOGE, the federal agency helmed by Elon Musk that's made some drastic cuts across the federal government. Take a listen.
Office of State Auditor, we're creating the Division of Accountability, Value, and Efficiency, otherwise known as DAVE, and providing $6 million for this new division within OSA. This initial investment will quickly pay for itself as the division identifies waste within our state agencies in the coming years.
Now, these cuts are needed to pay for Republicans' plans to further reduce the state's income tax rate. Democrats here have really pushed back. They say with economic uncertainty right now, as well as those massive cuts at the federal level, this isn't the time to be cutting from state government. They also point out that many state agencies, including prisons, are really short of staff right now, so it's not the time to be reducing staff either. Of course, the budget proposal is currently working its way through the Senate Finance Committee. We'll be watching very closely to see what happens there. In Raleigh, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
A new bill says North Carolina school libraries cannot have books that contain any description of sexual activity. That's under a bill scheduled to be heard this afternoon in a state House committee. House Bill 636 would also allow people to sue a school for damages and other remedies for alleged violations. The bill's filing follows years of debate over whether certain books are appropriate for students. You can learn more about the bill at the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com.
The future of the area around the Lenovo Center may be moving forward today. In less than an hour, Raleigh City Council will hear more comments about the proposed development around the arena. The billion-dollar redevelopment hinges on the council rezoning the 80 acres around the arena. It has received support from other committees so far. The Hurricanes plan to build hotels, entertainment venues, residential housing, and retail over the next 2 decades there. There is one less landlord in North Carolina using an unlawful AI software program to charge unfair rent. State Attorney General Jeff Jackson announced a settlement with Cortland Management over RealPage. We first reported an effort to crack down on the software last summer. Under the agreement, Cortland must stop using data from competitors or algorithms to price apartments and not share sensitive data from other landlords.
A cold front moving through brings gusty winds along with it. Meteorologist Amy Wilmoth is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center to show us how strong the winds are right now and how gusty it will be through the day today. Amy, those flags tell the story.
That's right. The flag's really blowing in the breeze at the Legislative Building in downtown Raleigh. We've had gusts near 30 miles per hour across parts of the viewing area, so definitely a windy day out there. This is a current look at sustained winds or steady winds in and around the triangle. Steady winds at 10 miles per hour in Raleigh. Pretty light winds in Cary right now and Garner, but at times we get some of those stronger gusts. So looking at the gusts in and around the triangle, 26-mile-per-hour gusts right now in Raleigh, 14-mile-per-hour gust in Durham. We have 17-mile-per-hour gusts in Zebulon. And then zooming out a little bit to look at the entire area, pretty breezy conditions across the entire area right now. We have gusts at 28 miles per hour in Fayetteville, 22-mile-per-hour gusts in Goldsboro. So definitely blustery out there today. Hour by hour, the winds will stay pretty gusty through the day today and even later this evening and overnight tonight. Winds anywhere from about 25 to even 35 miles per hour for today. And tomorrow it stays breezy as well. We could have gusts anywhere from 15 to 25 miles per hour. So it's a windy day today, still breezy tonight into tomorrow as well. Renee mentioned we have a cold front that's moving through that's bringing some of these blustery winds. Notice how there's really not much rain showing up on the radar. We have pretty dry conditions with this particular front, so it's more of a windy front moving through, and it's also going to drive in some cooler temperatures. I'll show you who could get into the 30s overnight tonight coming up in just a little bit.
Amy, thanks. I-40 East in Durham is back open after being closed for almost 5 hours this morning after a tractor-trailer crash. Video from the WRAL breaking news tracker shows the scene around 2 this morning on I-40 East and Barbie Road. It's not clear at this point what led to the crash or whether anyone was injured.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, we're following some breaking news out of Virginia where an Amtrak train crashed into somebody's truck. A man was inside that truck. We actually do have video of this. A news helicopter was over the scene just about 30 minutes ago. That is the car. That is the man's car that he was in. This happened about 9:30 this morning in Bristow. That's about an hour outside of D.C. First responders were able to pull that man out of the truck. He was transported by ambulance to the hospital. No other injuries were reported. We do not know the identity or the condition of that man pulled from that truck. All we know is that he is in the hospital at this hour.
A man who caused a massive police response at the United Healthcare campus in Minnesota is in police custody now. Police say Ian Wagner made violent threats outside the facility and he had a gun. Standoff ended within 45 minutes after an FBI crisis negotiator talked to Wagner over the phone. No one was hurt, and police do not believe he was targeting the insurance company. Jury selection is now underway in Harvey Weinstein's retrial in New York for alleged sex crimes. Weinstein was convicted of rape and other sex crimes in 2020, but it was overturned by the New York Appeals Court last year. He faces the same charges as well as an additional sex crime charge involving a new accuser. Weinstein has pleaded not guilty. Jury selection is expected to last about 5 days.
Sky 5 flew over a neighborhood in North Raleigh after police received emergency calls about a burglary. This was the scene around 9 a.m. at a home on Constitution Drive. That's in the woods of Northridge neighborhood. Someone in the area reported hearing a gunshot, but officers did not see any sign of shots fired from inside the home. We're working to learn if there was ever a crime scene. Police were at the scene of a shooting that killed a man in Durham until 3:30 this morning. The man was found shot and killed in his car around 9 last night near Cortland Drive and Brighton Road. We're working to learn the man's name and if police have information on a shooter.
President Trump has authorized the military to take control of a narrow stretch of federal land along the U.S.-Mexico border. Roosevelt Reservation is a 60-foot wide strip of land that stretches across California, Arizona, and New Mexico. Bram Resnick explains why at least one lawmaker calls the plan a bad idea.
I will declare a national emergency at our southern border.
After just days in office, President Donald Trump dispatched thousands of troops to the southwest border in support roles. Now Trump has taken an unprecedented step. This new memorandum from the president allows the military to circumvent the 19th century Posse Comitatus law. It prohibits using the military in a law enforcement role on American soil. So Trump has ordered the Pentagon to designate land along the border as a military installation. Border crossers could be arrested by soldiers for trespassing on a military base. The specific border area is known as the Roosevelt Reservation, a 60-foot wide strip of land owned by the federal government along the U.S. side of the border with Mexico. It runs for 632 miles through California, Arizona, and New Mexico. 62 miles of tribal land on the Tohono O'odham Reservation are excluded from the Trump order. Legal experts say Trump's action will likely be challenged in court. Democratic Senator Mark Kelly said in a statement to 12 News that Trump's plan is a bad idea. Troops can support in emergencies, but this plan goes far beyond that. It risks putting service members in roles they aren't trained for, undermining their readiness for their missions. That's a bad idea and not what we need at the border. Trump's expansion of troops' border role comes as crossings have plunged in recent months. Just 7,200 migrant encounters were reported in March, according to U.S. Customs and Border Protection. That's down from more than 189,000 during the same month a year ago.
That's Bron Resnick reporting. And as we take a look at stocks this noon, you see where the Dow Jones Industrial Average is right now. Even the futures from early this morning looked in positive territory. Compared to about the last week of trading, today would be considered pretty uneventful. I think it's up 72 right now, and Nasdaq is up just about the same. The S&P 500 is up marginally, about 20 points right now.
All in positive territory. Unemployment fears are at the worst levels since the pandemic. That's the findings of a study of consumer expectations from the New York Federal Reserve Bank. It found concerns over higher prices have people worrying about a jump in unemployment. 44% of people responding believe unemployment will be higher a year from now. Nearly 16% of participants believe they may lose their job in the next year.
6 months after Hurricane Helene's historic impact, the resilience and dedication of line workers continues to shine. Today, leaders recognize the efforts of line workers to keep the lights on for North Carolinians in the face of a historic storm last year. In celebration of National Line Worker Appreciation Day this week, a bucket trucks display there set up in front of the North Carolina Legislative Building.
That day I realized it was a catastrophic event. I'm originally from Florida, and I've never seen any kind of damage like this ever in any hurricane.
And leaders met line workers from several utilities, including two who hiked 2 miles to restore power for the VA hospital.
Next at noon, from guns to garden tools, how a gun buyback program is repurposing weapons into work tools.
Also, California quake still being talked about, how it sent people and animals scurrying for safety.
Plus, no more free ride, how it may cost you some bucks to travel a busy stretch of a Raleigh road.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
An elementary school principal is suspended without pay, and a teacher faces charges after police say they held a house party with more than 100 underage teenagers. Police were alerted to the party by another teen who was in a group chat with kids at the party in Florida. The girl told officers the students were sharing videos of everyone drinking as well as fights. Officers shut down the party, then returned after receiving another call of a 17-year-old shaking and vomiting in the front yard.
I'm saying, but I'm concerned.
And you're intoxicated too.
Oh, who cares? So I could get in your car and ride with you or call me.
Because he's 17 and he was here drinking at a party.
Why are you yelling at me?
Because you're yelling. You're here with your boss having a party with 200 kids who are drinking. Get out of my face. Now.
Officers checked the teen's vitals and allowed him to leave with police. No one else was injured.
A gun buyback program in Oklahoma transforms weapons into tools that help living things grow. Every year, the Tulsa Metropolitan Ministry hosts a Guns to Garden Tools ceremony to honor the lives taken by gun violence. Members collect guns throughout the year, and then blacksmiths melt those metal parts down and repurpose the metal into garden tools and then present them to loved ones. And one mother paid tribute to her son, who was killed in 2021. He was sitting in his apartment when a couple next door began to argue and struggled over a handgun. The gun went off and a bullet went through the wall. At the ceremony, she spoke his name before striking a gun on an anvil with a hammer.
It very much is. You hear the ring. It makes a certain sound, and you feel that you're releasing something when you do this.
And as people say, the ceremony allows them to share the loss and the pain on a spiritual level, but it also helps them heal.
It's being called the earthquake that shook most of Southern California. A 5.2 magnitude quake shook cities all the way to Mexico. For an hour and a half, it produced 4 aftershocks in the 3 to 3.9 range. NBC's Liz Kreutz shows us how people and animals reacted.
Millions of people across Southern California jolted by a 5.2 magnitude earthquake in San Diego County Monday morning.
It's terrifying because you don't know when it's going to stop.
And we felt the whole house start to shake.
The shaking felt from Mexico all the way to Los Angeles. The vibrating even felt in Palm Springs and among festival goers at Coachella.
I thought my friend was just dancing in the back seat, but we just saw the sign shaking.
The epicenter 3 miles south of the small mountain town of Julian.
Just had a fat earthquake.
Where the shaking knocked liquor bottles off shelves.
Glass falling, whiskey, scotch, an assortment of different bottles.
This video shows a woman grabbing her baby and running out of the house. At a local school, students taking cover under their desks along with their teacher.
Be safe with our head.
Even animals reacting. Watch these elephants at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. The herd forming an alert circle, with zoo officials describing it as the animals instinctively circling the younger elephants to protect them from threats.
I was just like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Was that an earthquake?
The quake struck just after 10 a.m., prompting a rock slide on this highway.
It seemed like the ground was moaning and like you had thunder underneath your feet.
In this earthquake-prone region, a surprise rattling to kickstart the week.
Compared to ones that I've been in before, I felt like this one was a little bit intense.
That was Liz Kreutz reporting. Now, according to the U.S. Geological Survey, there's a 21% chance of at least one aftershock of magnitude 4 or higher within the next week. Earthquakes just come with the territory, living in California.
Yeah, folks, we see them react like that, but to see the animals instinctively just kind of gather
that
together.
herd circle.
Yeah, that is really neat
really
to
amazing.
see. I'm glad they're okay. Amy Wilmoth over the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now for our next weather maker.
It's a cold front, and it's already moving through the area. It's moved through the triangle, and now it's getting closer to the coastal plain. It doesn't have a lot of moisture to work with. It's a moisture-starved front, so we don't get a lot of rain with this, but we get some cooler temperatures. We have some cloud cover out there, and we have gusty winds as well. It's 70 right now in Raleigh. Back behind the front, temperatures are in the 40s. It's 48 in Cleveland. It's 48 in Chicago, 47 in Minneapolis, and we'll get in the 40s overnight tonight across most of the viewing area. I'll look at current temperatures across our area. We do have a pretty big range because the front has moved through at least part of the area. 63 is the cool spot in Roxborough right now, 70 in Raleigh and Durham, but the front just now moving through our southeastern communities. So still at 76 in Clinton, 77 right now, the current temperature in Fayetteville. So a little bit warmer south and east of the triangle. Now, are we going to get any rain with this? I really think it's going to be very limited. Maybe a sprinkle or two. I don't think it's anything that would add up in the rain gauge. Shortly after 2 o'clock or so, a couple of spotty showers. By 3 o'clock, maybe a sprinkle or two, and we should be totally fine for the evening commute as far as the weather is concerned, although it's going to stay pretty breezy, but just a slim chance for showers with this particular front. 70 is the current temperature right now. This is a live look at Fenton and Cary, and you can kind of see the trees blowing there in the breeze. It's a northwesterly wind, another sign that the front has moved through the triangle. We have a sustained wind at 10 miles per hour, but gusts at 26 miles per hour in Raleigh and Durham, 28 mile per hour gusts in Fayetteville, and we have 18 mile per hour gusts in Rocky Mount. Around town today, perhaps we've reached our high already in the triangle. Low 70s for highs in Durham and Raleigh today, and then upper 70s down to the south and southeast of the triangle, where it's a little bit slower for the front to move through. We'll be in the 60s this evening from around 7 o'clock through 9 o'clock, and then we're back down into the 50s by 10 p.m. And it is going to be a pretty chilly night tonight. We'll have skies clear. Now, the one thing that's going to help to keep temperatures well above freezing is going to be the breeze. It's going to stay pretty breezy tonight, but still pretty chilly tonight. 37 in Roxborough, but above freezing, which is good. 39 in Lewisburg, 44 in Raleigh, 43 in Goldsboro, 37 in Siler City, and down to the south, upper 30s and low to mid 40s, 45 in Fayetteville. So it's going to be a colder night tonight. You'll probably want the jacket as you step outside tomorrow morning. It'll be a chilly start to the day and stays pretty mild in the afternoon. Another breezy day tomorrow, 68 for the high. 70 on Thursday after another chilly start, and then Good Friday. A lot of folks have the day off. It'll be nice and warm, 81, 87 Saturday, and then Easter Sunday, still very warm with highs in the 80s. I'll have more on the warm temperatures headed our way for the holiday weekend, and plus a look at the pollen report for today. I'll have that in the next half hour.
All right. Thank you, Amy. Cleaning up drinking water. Federal funding cuts may stop that from happening for one community in our area. This afternoon at 4, we look at why it could put your water and bill at risk.
Plus, buying tech after tariffs. While there is a temporary exemption for tech products, now's the time to think about what to do if your phone, tablet, or laptop is on its last legs. 5 on Your Side shares a few ways to help you stay connected without breaking the bank. Plus, still ahead, this new house shame. What is it, and how do you get over it, and why some say social media is to blame for it?
From buzzwords to catchy claims, we'll explain why some food labels can be deceiving and what to look out for the next time you grocery shop.
No matter when you filed your taxes, if you know you're getting a return, just can't come soon enough, right? 5 on Your Side's Keely Arthur shares how to track the status of your state and federal tax returns.
Most refunds are issued in less than 21 calendar days. Taxpayers who file electronically will typically get an updated status 24 hours within filing. It takes about 4 weeks for the same information to be available for those filing paper returns. Here's how to check. Go to Where's My Refund tool on irs.gov. The IRS updates the Where's My Refund tool once daily, usually overnight, so there's no need to check refund statuses multiple times a day. To check refund status, taxpayers will need Social Security or individual taxpayer ID numbers, filing status, and the exact refund amount. Several factors may affect the timing of a refund delivery, including filing an incomplete or inaccurate return, corrections to the Earned Income Tax Credit or additional child tax credit, and banking processing and posting times. The IRS will contact taxpayers by mail if more information is needed to process a return. To check the status of your state return, go to ncdor.gov/refund. Click Check Your Refund Status, type in your Social Security number and return amount, and then hit Submit. Keely Arthur, 5 on Your Side.
I know it's April 15th, but this year, because of Hurricane Helene, North Carolina taxpayers do have until May 1st to file state and federal tax returns. For more information, you can go to WRAL.com.
Starbucks is updating its uniform policy in an effort to revive the slumping brand. Beginning May 12th, baristas will have to wear solid black tops under their aprons. The company hopes this will allow the iconic green apron to shine and create a sense of familiarity for the customers. That's not the only change. The company will soon require employees to wear khaki, black, or blue denim. The CEO says the dress code changes will help it deliver a more consistent coffeehouse experience. If you feel any amount of house shame when inviting friends or family over, you are not alone. House shame is that tinge of embarrassment that you may feel when stepping into a Pinterest perfect household and immediately compare it to your own. The feeling can lead to hoarding or losing the will to clean. One way to ditch that feeling is by freshening rooms that your guests will actually see. Just remember, at the end of the day, it's important to make memories instead of worrying if your home looks like it should be on the cover of a magazine.
There's a new toll option. Some drivers dread the Capitol Boulevard commutes. Reaction to a proposal from the city, though, to reduce that traffic.
And Take Back the Night, a local organization that helps domestic violence survivors, teams up with a Triangle University to raise awareness. First, here's a look at the winning lottery numbers.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
For decades now, local officials have talked about upgrading Capitol Boulevard. Now they're exploring what it might look like if they put a toll road in there from Raleigh up to the Franklin County line.
Transportation officials will share some options with city leaders today. WRAL's Destiny Patterson joins us live now to walk us through some of those options. Destiny.
Renee, you know, many drivers dread having to get onto Capitol Boulevard here. You can see some of that backup here, especially during the early commute times. I mean, even in our time up here on Capitol Boulevard, our GPS said that it would take about 10 minutes plus just to go less than 2 hours. So from the early 2000s to now, transportation planning crews have wanted to upgrade this corridor. Transportation crews studied how a toll road would work from I-540 to the Franklin County line. Now, there are two ways that they could go about this. Either everyone pays a fixed rate or just the drivers who take a paid express lane. And within that, tolls on those lanes could change throughout the day based on traffic. Most of these options would allow financial flexibility and help the project move along faster. But almost all of those options would require some state law changes. As we've mentioned, they have wanted to make upgrades to this corridor, but they have faced several delays, mostly due to changing costs. Now, City Council, they will be hearing all of these options, and they'll be able to talk through some of these options today at their meeting that starts at 1 o'clock. We'll also be talking to drivers today, and we'll bring you that information in our later newscast. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Crews are working to install new crash barriers on I-87 as part of the project to complete NC 540. The work will continue tonight, starting at 9 o'clock on I-87 southbound at 540. It is expected to be done by 5 a.m. tomorrow. That work is part of the effort to extend the Triangle Expressway from I-40 to I-87. And if all goes to plan, that connection should be done by 2028. City of Raleigh hopes new upgrades along Glenwood South help improve sidewalk accessibility and promote responsible scooter use. Crews recently improved 13 scooter parking corrals along Glenwood South corridor located between Peace Street and Hillsborough Street. The upgraded corrals include clearly marked signs for scooter parking zones as well as skid-resistant materials in high-traffic areas. A citywide parking compliance policy also took effect in January, which introduces penalties for repeated violations.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, the Fayetteville Salvation Army of the Sandhills region has just announced that their Pathway of Hope shelter is closing due to a lack of funding. They said in a statement, "We have no funding partners. We cannot continue to operate the shelter without funding. The difficult decision weighs heavily on all of us, and our hearts go out to all of those who are affected. We are working to connect our clients with alternative resources." They say they have been operating at a deficit for months now.
Michelle, thank you. Tonight, Interact will join the NC State Women's Center for an annual event dedicated to reclaiming the night and the campus for sexual assault survivors. Take Back the Night provides a safe and affirming space for survivor voices. And joining us to talk about this event is Dot McFadden. She's the Director Sexual Assault Services at Interact. Thank you so much for being here, Dot.
Thank you for having me.
So for over 46 years, for those who may not know, Interact has been dedicated to ending the cycle of domestic and sexual violence in Wake County. And you've been with Interact for 15 years now. Talk about the organization's mission and goals and the services it provides.
Yes, so Interact is a nonprofit organization that is a dual service agency. We provide support to survivors and victims of domestic violence and sexual assault.
And tell me about Take Back the Night. How has that become a mantra for sexual assault survivors?
Take Back the Night is a global mission that is working to end sexual violence, to include stalking, harassment, sex trafficking, and other forms of sexual violence. It has been started in 1970s to raise awareness about how to prevent sexual assault and prevent stalking and harassment and sexual
and spreading awareness about that to college campuses. Tell me about this partnership with NC State, and why did you partner with NC State?
Yes, we are very honored and we are privileged to partner with NC State about Take Back the Night. They are one of our community partners because we all are aware that sexual violence occurs in campuses and universities. And so we are partnering with them tonight and see if we could raise more awareness. April is National Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and
So
this is
very
one of
timely.
the initiatives that we have over the course of April.
So walk us through what will happen tonight, starting at 6 o'clock outside the Talley Student Center with the resource fair.
They will have at 6 p.m. They will have a resource fair at the Talley Union, and it will be followed by at 7 p.m. They're going to start a walk or a march. We invite everyone to come and join us. We'll have maybe some chanting and spread awareness, talking about sexual assault, and then there's going to be a survivor that's going to talk about their experiences about sexual assault. And we're hoping that we are able to provide a safe space to our victims and survivors in the community who have experienced sexual assault.
No doubt it will be impactful, and thank you for providing that safe space with Interact and all the work that you do. We hope people never have to use your services, but it's reassuring to know that those services, that people have a place to go to be treated with kindness and compassion and dignity.
Yes,
after
thank
going
you.
through something like that. Thank you so much, Dot.
Thank you.
Jeff?
Vital services, certainly they are. All right, don't be fooled. The alert about fake Ozempic, how you can check if the weight loss drug is the real deal. Let's read the fine print, why you can't always trust the words organic and natural on food packaging. Remember, you can watch WRAL News live anytime on WRAL.com or the WRAL app on your streaming device.
Chemicals meant to make children safer could be harming them. A researcher in Toronto found children's mattresses contain toxic chemicals that release into the air. Those chemicals include flame retardants and phthalates, which are used in the manufacturing process. Researchers say as a child sleeps, their weight and body heat causes those chemicals in the mattress to release, and the child breathes them in. Health problems linked to these chemicals include early puberty, asthma, heart problems, and cancer. The FDA is warning patients and doctors to be on the lookout for counterfeit Ozempic. This comes after the FDA says it seized several hundreds of fake versions of the popular diabetes and weight loss drug. Novo Nordisk alerted the FDA that counterfeit injections were being sent outside its authorized supply chain in the U.S. The company is encouraging people to double check the prescription's lot and serial numbers.
Food labels can be deceiving, and with that in mind, it is important to take a closer look at what you're buying. Manufacturers often use terms like natural or organic on the front of products to make them seem healthier. But when you turn the package over, you might find added sugars and saturated fats. Grocery stores oftentimes have different options of the same product, so there's many times a healthier choice.
You can always take two different items of the same food and turn the packages around and then compare how much sodium is in the one food, how much saturated fat, and then make the better choice of eating the product that's lower in those two items that you're looking to avoid.
Foods with fewer ingredients tend to be healthier, and you want to pay attention to things like amount of calories per serving.
Drilling for gold. Thieves copy a scene out of a movie and make off with millions in gold and jewelry.
Plus, pepper spray attack. A court hearing disrupted before it ever started. Why the judge ordered this guy to spend the next 2 weeks behind bars. .45 right now on your Tuesday. A judge has ordered a man accused of releasing pepper spray inside a courtroom to have a competency evaluation. This happened yesterday at a courthouse near Boston. Police say Nicholas Ackerberg barged in wearing a gas mask, a helmet, and tactical boots. He sprayed several people and fought at least 3 officers before they were able to stop him with a taser. Officers later found 8 canisters of pepper spray and 2 smoke cans in Ackerberg's possession. Witnesses were grateful nobody was seriously hurt.
Situations like this on the news all the time, and luckily it didn't turn into something where somebody was shot or, physically hurt like that. I know they got pepper sprayed and they're going to the hospital, which is a shame, but yeah, it obviously could have been a lot worse.
Last year, Ackerberg was charged with spraying police with pepper spray. That case is still pending.
Police in Los Angeles are investigating a jewelry heist that was like something out of a Hollywood movie. Officers say thieves stole $20 million worth of gold from a downtown store. The owner says the burglars got into the vacant property next door, then used drills and heavy equipment to break through a wall. The crew rummaged through display cases and cracked the store safe.
In the past few months, we've been doing social media, so our business has grown a lot in the past few months, and then they took it all right at our peak.
The owner says this is the second time thieves have gotten into the store this way. The family does not have insurance for the stolen jewelry. They are offering $100,000 for information about the thieves.
Tomorrow marks 14 years since a terrible tornado outbreak in North Carolina. 30 tornadoes touched down in our state at that time. 9 hit our area. 24 people died as a result of that storm. A recent tornado traveled more than 100 miles on the ground. And WRAL meteorologist Chris Michaels shows us how rare that is and if it's ever happened in North Carolina.
Tornadoes that travel that long are certainly rare, and they take a long time to survey. Just look at how many points had to be surveyed by the Weather Service in Little Rock, Arkansas, and Paducah, Kentucky. But now that they've surveyed all the damage points, it was EF4 at its strongest, and it was on the ground for 117 miles. Let's put that into some local perspective. That's like having a tornado travel from Rayford to Rocky Mount. Very rare in North Carolina, but it has happened before. The longest on record in the country, reportedly, is 219 miles. That was set back in March of 1925. The longest tornado on record in North Carolina, it traveled 160 miles in the early 1990s from around Anger to Elizabeth City. Keep in mind, according to the Storm Prediction Center, the average path length for a tornado is 3.5 miles and on the ground for less than 10 minutes. We bring all this up because obviously tomorrow is an important weather point in our history. The historic outbreak from April 16th of 2011. We'll dive into the details, both the meteorology and the memories from that. You'll see that story on WRAL News tomorrow.
You don't often see them on the ground for as long as that one down south for 100 miles plus.
Well, and not just the distance, but tomorrow marking that anniversary of the 30 tornadoes in our state in one day. It is an outbreak we hope we never have to deal with again, but springtime, Amy, is certainly the peak of severe weather.
It is, and that's why we're going to tons of school talks, getting kids ready for severe weather season, prepared for severe weather when it comes to your area and how to stay safe. And we have all those details on WRAL.com as well. This is a live look at Carr Lake. The front has moved through that area. This is actually in Clarksville, Virginia. It looked like on radar a shower just moved through, but I think it's just too dry for any of that to make it all the way down to the ground. So the front has already moved through just about our entire viewing area. The shower activity is lingering behind the front, but a lot of this not reaching the ground, and it's really sparse as it is. But in our northern counties, radar showing a little bit of rain up there. Certainly a lot of cloud cover as well with this particular front, and even back in the North Carolina mountains, still some clouds as well. I do think skies will start to clear overnight tonight. That will allow the temperature to drop, but the wind stays pretty breezy tonight, which should keep us from getting down to frost-like temperatures across the area. And overall, rain chances are just really low for the next 7 days, only a 20% chance. Today, as that front is now to the east of us, still a few spotty showers possible or a sprinkler or two. And then we're dry through Saturday, only a 20% chance for rain Sunday and Monday. So not a lot of rain to wash away the pollen. This is a look at the latest report. We still have high tree pollen and a highlighted pine. I've had a lot of viewers ask me, you think we're done yet? Can I wash everything outside to get rid of all the pollen? Well, it's really starting to wane a little bit, but it's still showing up in the report. And I know that I washed my car and then I had a little bit of a dusty pollen layer on it within 24 hours. So you might just want to hold off for another week or so before you start to clean everything outside. This is a live look at the DBAP. They actually have a day game, the Durham Bulls. They're down by a lot right now, but there is another game tomorrow night if you want to head out. I checked the website. Tickets are available. $13, and the weather will be pretty nice for that as well. 70 right now in Durham and in Raleigh, 75 in Goldsboro, 77 in Clinton, so certainly warmer in our southern counties. We're where the front has just moved through. Still pretty breezy out there. 26-mile-per-hour gusts in Raleigh and Durham, 28-mile-per-hour gusts in Fayetteville. And it stays breezy on and off for the rest of the day today. 25 to maybe even 35-mile-per-hour gusts across the area. And then looking ahead to tomorrow, still on the breezy side, we could have wind gusts anywhere from 15 to 25 miles per hour tomorrow, so it remains pretty breezy. Temperature change. So starting tonight into tomorrow, we're going to have some colder air with us, below normal temperatures. That's going to change fast, though, over the weekend. A strong southwesterly flow. It's a warming wind for us, and it's going to help warm us up for the holiday weekend. Some chilly mornings for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but then mild again in the morning Saturday and Sunday, which is Easter Sunday. And then high temperatures, pretty mild the next couple of days, but then we're back in the 80s for the entire holiday weekend. So definitely warmer for the weekend. We have quiet weather really for the next several days. Nice and cool for the next few days, but it's back to some very late spring, early summer-like temperatures by the end of the week into the weekend. We'll be right back with another look at your top stories.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. The $32.6 billion budget proposal from the state Senate is winding its way through several key committees. Republican senators say it will allow the state to rebuild its financial reserves, continue to invest in rebuilding from Hurricane Helene, and put new money toward some key priorities. Democrats have been quick to push back on some major changes in this proposal, including planned cuts that would hit virtually every agency in the state.
State representatives are expected to hear a bill that would ban school library books that contain any description of sexual activity. That could be happening this afternoon with House Bill 636. It would also allow people to sue a school for damages and other remedies for alleged violations. The bill's filing follows years of debate over whether certain books are appropriate for students.
Raleigh police are investigating a reported burglary. They were called to a home on Constitution Drive this morning. Someone in the area reported hearing a gunshot, but police did not find any signs of shots fired. Officers have not shared any information about a suspect.
Vice President J.D. Vance made quite a fumble during a ceremony at the White House. The White House was hosting the Ohio State University football team for winning the National College Football Championship. And when Vance tried to pick up that trophy there, fumble. He dropped it right off the table. 30-pound base hit the ground. Gasping crowd there of players and coaches. Never fear, though, running back Travion Henderson kept his hands on that 24-karat gold, bronze, and stainless steel trophy, preventing it from hitting the ground.
Our pet of the day from Red Barn Rescue is a true lap dog who would love nothing more than to curl up in your arms for a cozy nap. Yoda is a tiny 6-pound sweetheart who is approximately 6 years old. I see it in the ears. He has the most loving and gentle disposition. Yoda likes cats and gently approaches just to say hello. He also respects big dogs. Yoda is ready to find a loving home where he can soak up all the love and attention he deserves. Apply at redbarnrescue.com today to meet Yoda. He's ready to share his wisdom.
Lenovo Center redevelopment. The topic is on the table for Raleigh City Council today. How the rezoning request being considered could change the way you live, work, and have fun in that area. That's this afternoon at 4.
NBC News Daily is next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.